Hey there folks, and welcome back for another video. I'm your host CDB or Chris, and today we're going to have a shave with Stirling. This is Responders for Life R4L. It's no longer made, so I'm not going to get into the details of the cost and all that, but the scent it's a really nice vetiver, and vetiver is sort of a green or grassy scent, and this one is a really, really nice scent. You know how I feel about Stirling, one of the best in the business, and arguably the undisputed value champion in the whole of shavedom. Great people, great products. We're going to be using our nemesis today, the Dovo number 95. And this razor has given us a memory line right there, which is on its way to healing up, and one over there in the span of a month. I think So Sharp David cursed it before he sent it to me because I got it from him. And so we'll see if we can do a little better. I don't have any really talking points or anything prepared today. Just wanted to hopefully have a better shave than I had yesterday with that naked armor set, which was, if you haven't seen that video, I'll link it below. Please watch it. I think it's important to watch that video in the event that you're considering buying that kit, which is the Lancelot kit. And just also, if you're a content creator, I think it's important to watch that video because a lot of folks talk about people who receive the occasional item for evaluation for free and the fact that they can't be unbiased or tell the truth. And I think that video, you will clearly see that I don't feel any obligation to call it any other way than how I absolutely see it, because it is not a glowing endorsement. And I think if you're a content creator and you receive evaluation products, first, you need to say that you've received it for free. And two, you need to be honest. If you don't like it, then say so. You can do it and you should do it. And I always do it. And so the other part I want to mention is sometimes people knock the vendors or artisans who send out evaluation gear. And keep in mind, they're taking a risk. First of all, it's a product that they cannot sell because they've sent it out for free. And secondly, they're taking a risk because if they send it to someone who's likely to call it like they see it, like me, very well may not like it. And it may not have the effect that they want. And so think about those things when you're having the discussions about, vendors sending things out for evaluation and how much you don't like it and so on. It could cut both ways. Now, if you're a very experienced soap maker these days, and you send something out, your product is probably pretty good. So the risk isn't quite as much, but that's still a product that they could have sold. And, that's the way they're doing their marketing. And they're still taking a risk in my view. So I just want to make a mention of that because I know some folks don't like the fact that some vendors and artisans market that way, but it is not risk-free. And essentially they're taking money out of their pockets to do it. Would you rather them make a commercial where it's completely paid for a particular result, or would you rather them send something that folks may or may not like? I mean, you can decide on your own what you prefer, but I mean, they could be spending that money to do paid spots, whereas they're guaranteeing a certain result, like making an actual commercial. Now, I don't know anyone in the wet shaving community that would actually do a paid spot. I certainly would not, but there probably are those that would, although I don't think the number of people who would do it would probably be that, because most people just are in it for enjoyment, and they really want to do their best to not lead their viewers astray, or at least that's always my goal. Okay, here we go with our Dovo 95, which has, it's been a devil of a razor for me, but we're going to try to do better today with it, and we shall see how we do. Feels good so far. Definitely honed well by the stallion. That naked armor razor yesterday was not honed well, in my opinion. Keep in mind, when you watch that video, it's my opinion. You may receive that kit or may buy it and it's great, but honestly, it was pretty rough. The products just, quite frankly, weren't very good. And from my perspective, it just wasn't very good, and that's all there was to it. You know, I wasn't in any way trying to be mean-spirited, but it was just, in my opinion, of such bad quality, there was no way around just calling it completely. Like, I saw it, seed it, that's terrible. Anyway, that's what happens when you're trying to focus when using the straight razor. Your mind is only capable of focusing on so many things at a time. And I'm trying to focus on what I'm doing and not what I'm saying. And, you know, I'm obviously of limited capacity to begin with, some would argue. But anyway, we're doing okay so far. But let's not jinx ourselves. Let's try to maintain discipline here and try to get a really nice, smooth, comfortable shave today. And you can see that lather is falling off the blade there, which I like, which means I've got a decent amount of moisture in it, and that has typically been my Achilles heel coming from DE. You can get away with a lot with DEs. And what I mean by that is in terms of the type of lather that's required. It can be very wet, it can be thin, it can be pasty, and you can get a good shave. But with straights, you just need to have more hydration and slickness. And for me, that's all there is to it. And so I've had to alter things a bit. I want to speak a little bit about lathering. And I've talked about this a little bit before, but I was watching Shaving with the Chief, and I think at first his channel was called The Chief Shaves. I think he's changed his channel. But anyway, I was watching a video of his, and I like his videos. I watch them. He's a newer gent. He's in the Navy. Thank you for your service, Chief. And he was talking about having talked with Jack from the virtual groom room. And Jack does terrific, I would say, showman quality lathers. But Jack has always, at the same time, said, you don't have to do this. He's been very clear about that. He's not dictating to people that they have to lather the way he does or spend the time that he does. He readily admits you don't need to get a good shave. But really what you have to ask yourself is what you want out of your lather. Is your aim to get a really smooth, comfortable shave? And if you make a lather, let's say it looks like this. If I get a great shave out of it, it was perfectly adequate, you know. Obviously, it wouldn't be considered by most to be a tremendous lather, but what works for you? That's the question you have to ask. And what works for me may not work for you. And that's another thing you have to consider when lathering. But anyway, the Chief was talking about his lather stinks. And I've watched his videos, and I don't think his lather stinks because for the most part, he's been getting pretty good shaves. And so, to me, the measure of a lather, let's get some moisture going here, is the outcome of the shave. So if you made a lather and you got a shave with no nicks, cuts, creepers, sweepers, irritation, bubbles, troubles, then you made a good lather because it did what it was supposed to do. A lather, the purpose of a lather is not to look great on YouTube. The purpose of the lather is to provide that barrier of protection and slickness that allows your tool to do its work in cutting the whiskers. And that's all there is to it. Now, that said, if you like making a showman quality lather, let's say out of personal pride, that is entirely okay. But don't feel compelled to because someone looks at your video on YouTube and goes, oh, you don't know how to lather or what have you. Because if you're getting great shaves, you know how to lather. Because that's what the purpose of lathering is to lend itself to the shave. And so one of the things I worry about when I hear people saying they have a terrible lather when they're getting excellent shaves is some new person will come along and they're not able to make a lather like that and they become discouraged because they think you have to do that. And so I just want to be clear with everyone that make the kind of lather you want to make. And if it results in great shaves, then that's fine. If it's resulting in crappy shaves, then you need to change it. But the chief was making lathers that were just fine as far as I could tell. But he's wanting to go the extra mile. That is A-okay. But chief, don't feel that you need to because of the way it looks or because of what people think on YouTube. It doesn't matter. You know, are you shaving well? And if you are, and you're hitting the marks in terms of what your expectation is, then your lather is okay. All right. And so you see, you've seen over the years on my videos, and I have, you know, I don't know, 1,400 or more, let's say, between the two channels. And up until recently, I have not cut myself very much. Or I rarely get irritation. I can count on my hands the number of times I've gotten irritation. And so my lathers work well for me. That is the most important thing for me. So I don't want to lead, keep in mind, new people are finding these videos every single day. We're growing this community. We don't want to run them off thinking that if you don't do this thing that I do, it's inadequate. Or at least I don't. And so that's the caveat. And that is no knock on the Chief or Jack, because personally, I enjoy watching them make lather. I enjoy it. I don't take the time to do it. I don't have the desire to do it because it's not necessary, but I enjoy watching other people do it. For me, since I'm learning to straight razor shave, the most important thing for me is to try to get a nice shave. So that's what I'm trying to do here. And let's get going with our, what I'm calling my nemesis razor here. Because this thing, I'm telling you what. So I had 2 memory lines, and then when I got it back from the Stallion, I used it, and it had a little bitty point there, which I've since then muted because it gave me a couple weepers. So this razor right here has been responsible for almost all the cuts I've had recently. Let's stretch a little hard. That's one of the things I'm trying to be more mindful of, is moving the stretch point. Boy, that lather is slick. One of the things that's hard for me is when I'm trying to get close on the heel on this side, I can't really get very close to the goatee because my hand's in the way. And I brought that up before, and I'm sure that over time I'll develop a technique to get closer there. But right now that's one of the areas that I struggle a little bit. Whew, slick. Okay, how do we do there? Let's just follow up on that residual slickness just a little bit. There's plenty of residual slickness in this soap. There we go. Okay, so that side, no problem. And that was the left hand. So we hope that we will have the same luck on the other side. I just dropped my Dr. Matt cloth. Stand by. So sometimes I use this cloth just to help when I'm in a slick spot. Let's add a little bit of hydration there. Anyway, I found that it helps because right here on my neck, it's super slick. There we go. Moving up. Very nice, no problem so far. I hope everyone is enjoying their Monday so far, as difficult as that may seem. I know a lot of people aren't Monday people, but honestly, I take the view that if you've been lucky enough to wake up and have the benefit of another day, you've been blessed, then it's a good day. That's just the way I look at it. You certainly don't have to. Just gonna lightly lather. We don't need much because this is slick stuff. Sterling, I'm telling you, good quality for the money. Good quality for the money. Okay. There we go. There we go. Not bad at all. I would actually like to be making longer strokes, but a lot of times it just seems more comfortable to make short strokes depending on the time. I noticed I've been watching, as I mentioned, Superman Kai Triska, and man, he just, you know, he's got short, controlled strokes. It's quite a thing to watch, actually, and it's obviously not what I do, but he's developed a lot of competence in the way that we've shaved. So we're going to tempt fate here by doing a little bit of touching up. And we're going to try to come in from the outside and try to keep our angle very shallow. What happened when I got those two memory lines is simply putting the razor to my face at too steep an angle. So we're going to be very cognizant of coming in shallow. Okay, so there we go. That's fine. Now we'll try to do it on this side without aggravating that memory line I caused the other day. Very light touch there. And finally, let's look and see if we have, okay, let's make another little bit of do a little bit of work on the neck there and we'll be good to go. I want to thank everybody for watching. I'm going to be recording a few videos for when I'm gone on vacation that will be airing later. A little bit of stuff in here I wanted to clean up. There we go. Let's go ahead and handle some of this. Okay, so there we have it. Another, I believe this is straight razor shave number 19. We're not going to count that rubbish Naked Armor straight shave because I had to bring the gold dollar in and that was just, it was just rough. Anyway, let me do a quick rinse, and we'll be back for the post. Stay tuned. All right, here we are back with the Lancaster towel to wick this moisture away. And by the way, I think I mentioned this in yesterday's video, but it bears mentioning again. I just love this towel. There's nothing in it for me. I bought this towel and the others that I've given away as gifts because I just love the towel and that's all there is to it. So nothing in for me. Nothing's been given to me. I just love it. Okay, let's go on and get our witch hazel real quick. All right. I'm finally getting towards the end of this Humphreys witch hazel. It's part of my routine all the time, and I slap it on dome. I'm going to shave the dome after this. So I'll make another video that will air later on that. We're going to finish things off today after we tell you what we used. I used the West Coast Shaving, which I don't think I mentioned, two-tone brush, which is usually under 20 bucks. I think it's a 26 millimeter knot. Yeah, really nice brush for the money. We use Stirling R4L, which is Responders for Life, which is Vetiver, sort of like Tom Ford gray vetiver, I believe. I'm going to finish it up today with the R4L aftershave. Again, from Stirling. Great all-around products, great value just for me. Fantastic. I probably have more Stirling soaps than any other brand. I have quite a bit. And I like the people, I like the product, and that's all there is to it. Just outstanding. And that smells great. It smells fresh. You know, nice green, fresh vetiver scent. And with that, we're going to wrap it up today. Oh, and by the way, we did manage to tame the Dovo 95 that has been a bit of a beast for us. We managed to tame that today in straight razor shave number 19. I want to thank each and every one of you, tongue twisted there, for watching. Until next time, remember, I'm your host, CDB, reminding you it's your shave, do it your way, and God bless.